Hey, on Friday, March 5th, I wanted to go to the Miriam Shrine of Gratitude. I wanted to go on the 4th, but I didn't. I was a little sore, so the following day I went. I left at about 2:15. I got there 3:29. It's only like a 20-minute walk. I stopped a few times because my back hurts and all that kind of stuff. When I got there, I went into the chapel area that I'll show you here on the computer, and there's a big Bible there. So I flipped it. I didn't read nothing. I just flipped it to a random page. It's what I've always done. And right away, the first paragraph I seen, because I've done this since I've been little, I just randomly open the Bible and I read the first paragraph, wherever it is that catches my eye, the first paragraph. And that was the first thing, and it said the law of the temple. So I thought, wow, this is kind of prophetic. Before I left to go there, I told my new roommate, I'm going to go to this shrine. I saw it online a few days ago. It's a Catholic shrine, and I knew nothing about it. I just saw it online. It was there, and I told my new roommate that I'm going to do a special prayer that it may be answered, hopefully, so that the people there would read their Bibles more strictly and realize that we're not to pray through anybody except Jesus. Right? And that's all I said to him. That was just my intent. Was to help them see that the only way is through Jesus. He's the way, the truth, and the life. So I told him before I was leaving that I'm going to go there. Just want to check it out. You know, I'm Christian, so it's not about me going there to worship or anything. But I'm going to do a special prayer that hopefully it gets answered, and the people that pray through Mary read their Bibles more and find out that we're supposed to read their Bibles strictly to the point where it says we're only to worship through Jesus and pray through Jesus. Have no other idols before us, nobody. So that's what I did. I went out there, and then as soon as I opened the Bible, it goes to the law of the temple. It didn't ring a bell to me, so I thought maybe there's a special book. I think it's called the Manum or the Manon. It's another Bible that a lot of Catholics use and have in churches and stuff, and some of the guys read from it while they're in the church, giving their sermons. So I didn't know this either, but when I left on Friday was the day of prayer. It's March 4th, and it was 3:30 in the morning, right? Well, 2:15, that's when I left. It was the day of prayer, because the sun hadn't come up yet. So even though technically after 12 it's the next day, to me it was still the 4th, because I hadn't slept. So yeah, it's kind of significant there, me opening the Bible to that passage. And then when I got home, I looked it up, and it's from Ezekiel. And I forget what Ezekiel it's from, but it says the glory of the Lord will return to the temple. You've seen that in the previous video that I put up on my channel. I'll show you quickly. Here. This is when I got there. I just said I arrived at the shrine, and my phone died right away. So I turned it back on, and it played for 3 seconds here. You can see how it says the law of the temple, and that's candlelight that's flicking in the background. So when I looked at it, it says the glory of the Lord will return to the temple. That was the purpose of me going there, was to show them with that special prayer that Jesus is the way. This is the temple. These are the doors that go in. I've looked all over online here at hundreds of pictures of it. There's not one picture of the Bible. There's pictures inside the shrine, pictures of the chairs, but not one picture of the Bible. I've looked. The story behind this place is it was a rich guy who made a cottage for him and his wife, and he was so rich he's on the stock exchange and everything, and he made that cottage for him and his wife and would cater to the elite and built a $75,000 pool in the back of it. And this is the pump house for the pool, and this is the pool. See the ladder? They just filled it all in with grass when the temple took over. And there's the home. So it's been turned into a shrine. And these are on solar lights. There's no electricity to the building. Someone blew a fuse. And when I was walking past these, some of the lights were on and some weren't. So the ones that had the lights on, I walked up to and I looked at them. And there's a close-up of the thing. And as I'm looking at them, I just kept walking around, doing my thing, went up to the top, walked through the double arches that are way up in here on the side of the house. And came back down the other side, went back into the chapel, knelt down on one of the little prayer things and did my prayer through Jesus, asking that he show them the truth, or the way, the truth, and the life. And this is the little prayer thing. On the bottom you can kneel on them, right? So yeah, that's what I did. And when I left, I came back outside, I looked, and all the lights were off on the little plaques on the side of the wall. These guys. They go all the way along the side, one side, and all the way along the other side, the right hand side and the left hand side of the pool, the garden area. So when I got home, it was almost 5:30. I thought I left at 1:15. It only takes 22 minutes to walk there. So I thought I had like at least 3 hours that I'd spent there, and it didn't seem like I was there 3 hours. It seemed like I was there 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes tops. And when I got home, that's when I Googled it, found out that here's there's plaques all the way along the wall. You can see the little lights above them. Right? They're on solar lights. These guys, right? That's a solar light box, I guess. So when I got home, that's when I looked at it and it says, the glory of the Lord will return to the temple. That was my intention with the prayer. And I thought, hey man, I was only there half an hour. Like, it was cold. It was minus 15 or minus 16 with the wind. So when I went in the chapel, people had lit candles, so I could feel a little bit of the warmth from it, but you could still see your breath. So I thought something had happened, like me seeing this in the book, in the Bible, me coming home to see the glory of the Lord returns to the temple. I mean, the laws of the temple, reminding everybody there. I told my roommate before I left my intention of my prayer. So it all just came full circle, right? And then when I realized it's like 5:30, he pointed out when I got home. If you hadn't have said nothing, I wouldn't have thought, like, oh, I'm going to contact the lady that works there, because I wouldn't have thought I had so much missing time. I literally thought it was like 3:30 or something when I got home, because it felt to me like it was only half an hour that I was there. So I called the lady at the shrine, left a message. It took a day to get a hold of her, like another day. That's why I haven't uploaded this. And then she told me that there's no power. They blew the power there. It gave me a little bit of feedback on the place, that some people have been healed there. One of the bishops had a stick in his eye, and he went to hospital. He prayed to Mary, and Mary healed his eye, they say. There's a plaque there dedicated to it. He's passed away since. And there's before and after doctor things saying he had like an eye condition, and then after this he had 20/20 eye vision. He didn't have his eye condition anymore. Another lady had cancer. Her cancer was gone. A whole bunch of things have happened there. So when I was waiting to hear back from her, that's when I realized on the video, I looked at the time and I was like, it was 3:30 when I got there. And then I went on the computer. I didn't have the intention to. I was just looking at the computer. Or no, I was looking at my phone. I sent a message, and the message I sent was 2:15. So it was just before I left when I sent that message. I forgot. So it wasn't 1:15 that I left. So that means there was 2 hours that I'd spent there, a little over 2 hours. But again, it still felt like 30 minutes tops, right? So I understand, some of you watching too, but some of you maybe not. But when you're in the presence of the Lord, or you're filled with the Holy Spirit, or you're praying, time can go by really fast, or it can go by really slow, because time for God is like, our whole life is like a blink of His eye, literally like a blink. There's your whole life. So I understand all that, but I wanted to contact the lady, or contact the shrine. I didn't know a lady that ran it until I spoke to her, to see if they might have had a camera set up, to see if something might have showed up, something weird, right? Something supernatural. And she told me no, because the power's out, the camera's not working. They haven't been able to get the power on for a while. Explained to me why. There's some controversy going on with the Pope, and people want to close it, and they did a petition. They kept it open since 2019, and it's still up in the air if it might close or not. So my whole intention was not to cause like any kind of disrespect or nothing. Catholics and Christians might have their same base beliefs in God, but when you pray through Mary instead of through Jesus to God, or you call on healing from Mary instead of Jesus, because Jesus is the healer, that's why I don't want to cause disrespect. I respect everybody's religions, all world religions, whatever they believe. So that's why I wanted to make that clear. My intention going there wasn't to cause disrespect. My intention was just to do a prayer, and a prayer to see that Jesus can show them that He's the only way, and not to go through Mary. And then for me to open that Bible to where it says the law of the temple that I hadn't seen before, and I thought it wasn't even the Bible till I got home and looked, and I found out it is the Bible. It's not the Catholic Bible. And then the whole section of where the law of the temple is from is called "The glory of the Lord returns to the temple." The glory of Jesus returns to the temple. That was the intention of my prayer. The lights on the plaques are solar lights, right? She told me, because I told her some of the lights were on, and when I came back out of the temple, all of them were off. So I told her, I'm not sure what's going on with the electricity. You told me it was off, but those lights were definitely on. They weren't on all the plaques on the wall, but the ones they were on, I walked up to clearly and looked at them. So I'm not sure what to tell you with that. And she said, well, they're on solar lights. And I said, well, if they're solar lights, they're not motion activated, because that's what I thought. Maybe it's when you're walking by, the light comes on. So I walked up to them all when the lights were off, and they didn't come back on. I'm waving my hand in front of them, looking for a sensor. Nothing. She said, I want to tell you something. People who go there and feel the presence of Mary will see the lights coming on and off all throughout the place, and a lot of other weird things that happens. And again, I know from experiences that the little demons below like to mess with people. They'll turn lights on, turn lights off, like poltergeist stuff, right? And if you think it's your passed on loved one, you think it's a saint, you think it's Mary, they'll keep playing into that with you because you're interacting with them. I didn't feel that when I was there. I didn't feel none of that. I was totally enthralled with the Holy Spirit. I felt close to God, and I was being very cautious not to cause any disrespect. As I said, like I wouldn't want to with anybody who's living. My whole intention was God. God knows my intention on why I went there. My roommate knows my intention on why I went there, was just to do a prayer that Jesus shows himself to them so that they pray to him and pray through him, not Mary. And if they don't, I mean, that's still them. I respect them for it and everything else. And that's why I was, making sure that everything was on the up and up. All my thoughts were pure. I was reciting some passages in my mind as I'm going around, just doing prayers as I was walking around. It just wasn't that one prayer. Even put my hand on the back of Jesus when I saw his shoulders cracked. Asked for it to be healed, even though it's a rock. I even said, you can heal us, you can heal anything. You created this whole world. You can definitely heal a rock statue. You can laugh at me if you want, it doesn't matter, but that's how it was. So when I was leaving, I had a walking stick and my coffee. I didn't want to walk around with my coffee, so when I first walked up the stairs and entered on the grounds, I put my coffee down and my stick there. When I walked back to it, grabbed my coffee, I took a sip, had the stick in my hand, I took one last look back. Before I tell you this, when I was walking there, I was in prayer too, and I had like a feeling like Moses on his pilgrimage, leading the people, and leading the people. I was really connected. So I had to mention that because I had the stick in my hand, right? And he had the stick too. That he threw down the ground, turned into two snakes. So when I turned around and looked, after noticing all the lights were all off, and I walked up to him and all that, and I was like, all right, it's just the lights went out, I guess. I didn't really put much thought to it till after I came home. I looked back, and then one light came on. And the one light that came on is a Ukrainian language plaque. And I guess it's explaining about the bishop who got the stick in his eye and was healed by Mary. That light came on, so I walked back, and I thought, that's a sign. All these lights were on, or not all of them, the lights were on, then they went off, there's something going on. Then I see this light come on, then I'm thinking, all right, it's a sign for me to go over there. I still wasn't thinking like supernatural things were happening or anything out of the normal, because I didn't know about the electricity being off, these being solar lights. I didn't know if they were on timers, So when I walked back to it, that's when I'm reading the language. And when I came home, I found out that this whole thing, it was possible. It's on here on the internet through a Ukrainian bishop. That's the Ukrainian tie to it. And right now there's the Ukrainian conflict going on in Russia. Right? And again, that wasn't my intention when I went there. It wasn't on my mind when I went there. It's like I was being reminded by it, right? My old roommate was really upset about what's going on because she went through Hitler's regime and saw before it happened and after it happened and what they say to you, how they dictate to you, and how it becomes a dictatorship. And she said Canada's becoming that same way with a lot of the stuff that's been going on long before the Putin and Ukraine stuff started going on. So once that started happening, she started getting sad because flashbacks are coming back. She's seeing everything. She wants Putin on a pole, wants his head on a pole. God bless her. So I think it's, everything's full circle with this whole experience. Like it's just testimony. And I was telling her a week even before this, or not a week, a few days before this, like, don't worry, it's going to be over. It's going to be over soon. Putin's going to end this thing. It's going to be done. And I've been praying that it gets done. I've been praying that he stops, comes to his senses. The first prayer I did of it, he had a meeting. And I guess that didn't work out. This will be like the third meeting he's had now. And I think it's done. It's going to be done. There's millions of people out there praying the same prayer. And all our prayers are heard. So I decided to share this, man. I think it's nothing short of a miracle. And the lady I was speaking to, when I spoke to her again, she started telling me more about herself, the history, the Pope. She's connected. She even told me she used to work for the mafia. I'm not sure. She didn't tell me not to say anything, so I imagine she tells everyone else that she might talk to. And she might see this video and many other people that might go there. And again, I don't mean any disrespect, but it's just, it had to be recorded. It had to be told. And she wants me to send an email to her explaining what happened. But I can't really explain what happened because someone's probably going to look at it like, oh, he went there to try and tell us who we should pray to. And that wasn't my intention. My intention was to go there, pray to God, and ask God to show anyone there that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, not Mary. You can't pray through Mary to get there. Not me telling them, not me judging them. God showing them. That was my intention. So I'm hesitant now to share the story with this lady because I don't want to leave out anything and say, oh, I didn't tell my roommate before I went, or I didn't, because that's the whole testimony. I said to him before I left, that was my intent, to go there, do a special prayer that they will find Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and God will show them that they're to pray through Jesus and not Mary. I even told him before I went, I'm not Catholic. I'm not going there to pray like their prayer or their religion. I'm going there. This is my intent. And then as soon as I get there, I open it. You've heard me say this 3 times in the video now. And it opens to the law of the temple, which I hadn't known before, and I thought maybe it's the other Bible, not the Bible. And when I got home, I found out it is the Bible. It's Ezekiel 3:20 something, I think, off my memory. It's on my channel. You have the video to look at. And then when I look at the passage, it says the glory of the Lord will return to the temple. I mean, how much evidence can you get God's hand is not working there, right? And then I told the lady that I opened it to the law of the temple, and it says the glory of the Lord will return to the temple. She said, oh, how great, can you give me your testimony? People give us testimonies all the time, and I think this one's special. And we spoke the second day when I tried to confirm with her about the electricity and the lights, because I didn't mention the lights to her the first time. So that's why it's taken a while for me to upload this. So after I spoke to her the second time, she told me no, those solar lights are just solar lights. They're not on the electricity, and told her about that plaque lighting up. After talking, she was telling me some other personal things in her life, so I was just lifting her up, reminding her of scripture to strengthen her, because she's going through a lot. And she said, I want you to know, like, I feel the presence of the Lord in you really strong. I'd really like to get to know you and maybe meet you. And I said, yeah, we can do that anytime. So I don't want to be like a deceiver. And I feel I would be deceiving her if I didn't tell her the truth. That my intention was to go there so that God would show everybody there who goes there that they're to pray through Jesus, not pray through Mary. They can still do what they want with Mary, but pray through Mary. And if they receive healing, know the healing came from Jesus's hands, God's hands, not Jesus's mother. And it's again, that's not me, that's the Lord, that's God, and that's scripture. So for me to tell her this story, it's going to come across that way. I mean, you have to be really strong in your faith to know that someone's putting it in the hands of God to help people instead of them doing it on their own by telling them. And that's not what I did. But if I tell my testimony, a lot of people reading it might be like, screw this guy. And like I said, she used to work for the mob. She's connected to the Pope. He's the guy that's going to close it down. The new Pope now is different than the Pope before. Things aren't working out so good. The Pope does the same thing. They're Catholics, so this story will be heard. And like I said, I don't want to cause disrespect for anybody. And now this whole video's gone off of what it's gone. It was just supposed to be about a testimony, but I don't know, maybe I'm looking for advice from some people that are watching it. My throat's really dry. It's really dry in here. Look at my hand too. See my hand? How it's just like all cracked up. That used to happen years ago. It hasn't happened in a long, long time. I put moringa oil on it. It didn't help too much. I think I need a humidifier because it's really like it's hot and dry. So my throat's kind of getting all hot and dry. I took my drink here. So I'm going to cut this short. God bless everybody who sees this. And know that my intent is not to disrespect anybody. My intent was to have God show people that the way is through Jesus, not through Mary. And the only reason I did that is because I care for them. That shrine's pretty cool. And now that I've heard the story through it and everything else, I care for everybody, every religion out there. I care about them. I don't want to see anybody burn. I don't want to see anyone go to hell. Nobody. I mean, think about how that would feel, man, if you're caught up in the clouds and you're sitting in the New Jerusalem watching all these people burn, whether you know them or not. Like, it's not going to be cool, man. So, the more you can help, the more you can save. That's what it's all about, being a fisher of man. So, I'm going to end this, and I love you all. God bless you. And God's good, man. I'm so grateful for all the experiences He's given me in life, all the signs and the symbols. And I haven't used it as testimony before like this, but I have to, even if people come against me. And I told her I would send her an email, so 90% in my heart I'm going to tell the story like I'm telling you guys. Exactly the same. I mean, if I leave anything out, I'm deceiving her in my eyes, to try and protect myself from having people come against me. Look what they did to Jesus. Everybody came against him, even his own people. So, and I'm used to people coming against me already. But it was the talk of the personal talk we had, that her connection with the Pope and Vatican now, and she used to work for the mafia. Yeah, I don't want to make people like that upset, that have control of power over everything. The Pope alone, I don't know if people know this, but he can change anyone's laws in any country, anywhere. He has that power. No matter who you are, no matter what you think, he can come into your country, write the law, and it's done. So whether they follow it or not, that's up to them, but they'll face, the persecution for it by him, whether it's financially, economically, or same thing, I guess, with sanctions or whatever, right, or behind the door things. It's the Vatican. They're the richest bank in the whole world. The richest bank in the whole world, with the smallest piece of land. And technically their own country, as you all know. So add them with the mafia together combined, they're not kind of people you want to make mad or have out there thinking different assumptions about you when your intent wasn't that at all. Alright? Okay. God bless you. Have a good night.